It's my feel-good breakfast show.
All right, we are joined this morning by multimedia health specialist Dr. Darren Green. We're talking about antibiotics. If you have any questions, give us a shout. 083 9133728. There's definitely a lot to talk about, Dr. Darren. So we know that it's very important to finish a course of antibiotics. And to my knowledge, you get either a 3-day course or a 5-day course. But what happens if you stop taking it before the course is finished? I mean, we naturally start feeling better.
Yeah, so as you start feeling better, people then think, I don't need this anymore. Because let's face it, antibiotics aren't without side effects. There are a lot of gastrointestinal side effects, the nausea, the diarrhea. Those are big ones, but we'll talk about how to counter that later. So what the latest science and research is showing is that longer courses of antibiotics aren't actually as effective as taking shorter courses but higher dosages. Yeah. So as science is developing, we're realizing that hitting it hard early for a shorter course is actually more useful. What happens when you start a course of antibiotics, feel better and stop halfway through, is that the bugs are half treated. They're numbed a little bit, they stop multiplying, you feeling great, you feel like you're getting over it, the fevers are a bit less, etc. But that bug then has memory. And what it does in its evolving state of becoming resistant anyway or improving its defense mechanisms, just like us as a living organism do that, they too then have memory of the antibiotic, and they haven't been killed completely. So they actually come back stronger with what we call antibiotic resistance. And this has all led, obviously, to the world crisis, global crisis at the moment, that the World Health Organization has declared.
Let's talk about that. I mean, the resistance to antibiotics from the... What is the situation at the moment when it comes to, if you take a look at it as a holistic picture, and what are the viruses and bugs doing nowadays?
Yes, so the bacteria, for example, you'll hear people using phrases like superbug. Yes. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a superbug. That means something as simple as a scratch on your skin, for example, can be infected with one of these superbugs, which is a bug that's mutated and been exposed half to antibiotics over the years, that then develops resistance. In other words, it can wreak havoc with a simple scratch, can lead to an abscess, can lead to greater problems of entering the bloodstream where modern antibiotics don't even work against it because it's so well changed and ready for that defense. The big term governing this in the world right now is what's called antibiotic stewardship. And that's been implemented both in the public hospitals in our country and in the private hospitals, where we try and keep a tab on which doctors are prescribing which antibiotic for which exact clinical diagnosis. That's the first thing of good stewardship and ownership of the problem. The problem is, however, that our GPs are the biggest problem, because we can't keep a hold at the moment on exactly what they are prescribing, and we're looking at mechanisms at the moment from a health practitioner side to look at educating the public as to when to use antibiotics, how long to use them,
exactly, and really if it is necessary. Listen, we had just before we go to our next segment, we had a caller, a lady asking about a superbug called MOSA. I think I pronounced it right. Is there a cure? Can antibiotics cure that at the moment?
Yes, there are cures, certainly. You know, you get resistant MRSA.
Okay.
MRSA, methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, which is an organism associated typically with skin infections, and often a bug that becomes resistant and often contracted in hospitals, for example. And MRSA can lead to systemic sepsis or infection, where you then have significant complications in the different systems, the lung system, etc., the muscles, the abdominal, the gut, and so forth. So you then have a very limited amount of options in treating that. But certainly there are currently regimens that we do use for people that suffer from MRSA.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Darren Green. Big topic this morning, antibiotics. Give us a shout, 083 9133728. Right now, it's over to Leanne.